It's still coming in. Hey, James.
Hey, what's going on?
We see you over there. We see.
I say, hey, Zach.
Hey, James.
Hey, Karen.
Hey, Karen. I can say it now.
Everybody.
Hey, Karen. Hey, everybody.
Y'all act like y'all don't see me.
You gotta keep your camera on. Y'all gotta keep y'all camera on. It motivates me.
All right. Okay.
Hey, Jaleesa. Hey, Chris. Hey, Ray.
Oh, you got a whole crew in here.
Hey, I'm working on getting myself together.
Okay, can y'all see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so thank you guys for showing up to study hall today. I appreciate the support from my Atlanta chapter. And my cousin Alicia, she's in the Charleston chapter. She's on here too. So thank you guys for showing up to Tasting Through the Life Cycle. But before I introduce myself and begin my presentation, I wanted to thank the Hugh Society for my scholarship for my WSET Level 1 certification, which I took earlier this year and I passed.
Hey.
So yes, I'm excited about that. Thank you. I also want to do a special thanks, give a special thanks to Tahira for creating this group because like I said before, I have not had any formal wine training, any hospitality industry. I haven't been in that. And this group has allowed me a space to learn about wine without it being judgmental and without people, you know, making you feel less than because you don't have all the qualifications as them. So I want to thank her for creating this environment. And of course, I have to give a shout out to the Atlanta chapter because you guys welcomed me with open arms and you uphold the vision and the mission that the Hugh Society stands for. So thank you guys so much.
So this is the wine cellar.
Oh, James gotta mute his he doing wine down Wednesday. He doing wine down Wednesday. He gotta mute his thing. Okay, so a little bit about myself.
Can we mute?
Oh, wait, it moved too fast. A little bit about myself. Again, my name is Chavonne. I am a wine enthusiast and I have been drinking wine since 2005. But then in 2020, during COVID, I realized that there is a difference between drinking and tasting wine. Now, I still drink it, but tasting allows me the opportunity to learn more about what's in the wine. What is the wine about? What is the story behind this wine? Why did the winemaker do what they did? That whole process. So tasting has given me a different level of respect for wine. I'm also a licensed cosmetologist. So I see here first, Billy, that's why I saw them curls, girl. So I've been a cosmetologist for almost 20 years. And in 2022, I decided that I wanted to shift my career from being behind the chairs to being a licensed therapist. So I'm currently in school now to complete my bachelor's program in psychology. And that's kind of what brought together this study hall topic for today. I wanted to marry together wine and psychology, and we are going to go tasting through the life cycle. Okay, so I did ask everybody to bring some wine. So did everybody bring something? A glass? You brought a whole bottle to class? I have my wine. I hope you have yours. So the reason I wanted everyone to do this is because I am going to incorporate some connections with the topic with the different varietals. And I am curious to see what you guys brought and how you think it connects to the different stages of life. Okay? So let's get started. Each stage of life has unique qualities that can be compared to the winemaking process from grape to glass. And today we're going to explore 4 stages of the human life cycle: infancy, childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. And then we're going to do those alongside 4 key stages in the winemaking process, which is grape growing and harvest, fermentation, aging, and maturation. and then bottling and enjoyment. So we're going to connect that. We're going to connect those two journeys. And then, like I said before, we're going to highlight some varietals that connect with each stage of life. So y'all ready? Say something if you're ready.
Ready.
So I
We
know
are ready. I thought we
Okay,
was all,
good.
I thought we get muted out. Sorry.
No, I need y'all to interact.
All right,
because
here I
it
go.
keeps
I'm not,
me-
I thought I was not muted, but I was. Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Me
Ready.
too.
Okay,
Ready.
good.
We are ready. Let's go.
So I can't see the chat. So then Natasha, if you can monitor it for me, because I can see it on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, so let's get started. Okay. Okay.
That's Lena. Lena, can
Lena,
you
you-
mute?
Hey, yeah, sorry. I have like 3 meetings going on at the same time.
Thank you for
Can't even
joining.
drink. I can't even drink.
Okay, so the first stage that we're going to explore today is the infancy stage. And we're going to connect this stage with the grape growing and harvest stage in winemaking. So infancy marks the beginning of life's journey. This is the period that is characterized by rapid growth, nurturing, and the laying of a strong foundation for the future. Similarly, the winemaking process starts with grape growing and harvest. And this stage is where the potential of each grape has to be carefully curated and cultivated. So just as an infant whose life is full of possibilities and needs attention, love, and care to thrive, this stage in winemaking is all about nurturing the vines, ensuring that they have the right balance of sunlight, water, and nutrients to grow strong and healthy. So can you see how I started that connection? Yes, I'm gonna get a sip of water. Okay.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
You see what I did? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So harvest marks the beginning of the transformation, of a transformation. This is the time when the grapes are picked at their peak ripeness, which is very similar to the early stages or the early steps an infant takes towards becoming who they are meant to be. So this is the stage of rapid growth, development, nurture, and care, similar to both an infant and the vines to create our wine that we're drinking tonight. So by relating this infancy stage to grape growing and harvest, can anyone think of some varietals that capture the essence of new beginnings? Anybody? 3 people, because I love the number 3. So if 3 people can tell me one varietal that connect with nurturing like early beginnings of life.
Can I say Sauvignon Blanc? Because I feel like it doesn't take as long as others to like it's early, it's fresh, it's bright, and that's kind of what I feel like this stage represents is like that brightness, newness. So
Okay.
I was
Anybody
also going to
else?
say either a Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris because those wines are not necessarily meant to be aged at all. They're meant to be drank very young.
Okay.
And they're also, some people may agree with this, as far as their characteristic profiles, it's not, it's more citrus driven, it's still kind of, it's one of those situations where it's not a whole lot of fruit. So it's still, sometimes some of it, not all of it, but some of it can sometimes be a little immature or premature or just, that kind of situation because it's just like it's very few notes that you pick up in Pinot Grigio.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have another one?
I would say Beaujolais.
Okay.
Because that's to be drunk young, the one that comes out third week in November. We're all waiting patiently. So yeah, I would say that one, maybe about 3 years. You could keep it around or sooner or so, since I think that flows with the infancy. Okay.
Well, thank you guys. So I also picked 3. And the ones that I picked are Sauvignon Blanc, Viognier, and Chardonnay. And the reason I picked Sauvignon Blanc is very similar to Bianca's is because it's the vibrant energy of a newborn. The crisp, refreshing flavors mirror the purity and freshness of new life. This wine, it's bright, zesty, just like she said, bursting with acidity, just as a baby enters this world with a spark of excitement and endless potential. Sauvignon Blanc. The reason I picked Viognier is it's the perfect representation to me of gentle, sweet scented beginnings of life. This wine captures the tender and soft nature of infancy with the fragrant bouquet that hints at apricots, peaches, and blossoming flowers. This wine is harvested early to preserve its fresh and lively character that embodies the idea of a fresh start. And then Chardonnay, I have to say this. So, like, we have this famous quote that was mentioned in the Hue Society Atlanta chapter meeting that said, "You may like Chardonnay if you came up out the grocery store."
Say that.
So when I said Chardonnay, I said, you know what? I cannot say Chardonnay without saying that quote. Chardonnay's characteristics are influenced by its environment and the care that it gets in the vineyard. With proper nurturing, it can express a wide range of flavors, from crisp and mineral to rich and buttery, which symbolizes the vast potential that lies within the early stages of life. So that is the infancy stage. Anybody have any questions or any feedback, concerns? We're just gonna make it light because we gotta move forward. But anybody have anything?
Whoever said that about Chardonnay in the grocery store is a genius, by the way.
I agree.
Shout out to her.
Her, wait, is her you? Are
Yes.
you
She is
okay.
her.
Okay.
She is her. She is her.
You on the bottom square. Gotcha.
So the next stage that we're going to explore today is childhood and how it mirrors or reflects with the fermentation process. Childhood is a time of learning, exploration, and growth. Now, personally, I believe that we learn in every stage of life, especially adulthood. We learn and we also unlearn so that we can grow. But the special thing about the childhood stage is that this is where foundational skills and knowledge are developed, very much like the fermentation process in winemaking. So during the fermentation process, grape juice undergoes this dramatic change where the yeast converts the sugar to alcohol. And it echoes the way that a child is all about change, development, and discovery. So the fermentation process is lively, it's dynamic, right? The wine is beginning to form its core characteristics and it starts to define its unique identity. So the grape juice is evolving, it's taking on new flavors and new aromas. And at this stage, the wine is becoming, the wine is becoming what it's supposed to be. Children are full of energy. They are curious. They're full of curiosity. And as they're discovering new experiences about themselves, they're shaping their personalities and they're understanding the world around them. Childhood sets the stage for the future. It's the laying down of the essential building blocks of who we become. So remember when I just mentioned that the fermentation process establishes the foundation of what the wine will be, the childhood stage establishes the foundation of what we will be when we're adults. You see that connection. You see where I went with that. So as it pertains to the childhood stage of life, the fermentation process, with the fermentation process, there are some varietals that also mirror this stage, and that captures the essence of growth, transformation, development, and character. So can we have some different people that can suggest wine that would be similar to the childhood stage of life? Karen, you can't.
I mean, I was gonna go Chardonnay again, but
okay, you can.
You know what? No, I'm thinking, and somebody can piggyback off of this. I'm thinking of a varietal that, fermentation, right? So it can be sweet or you can let it go and you can make it drier, you can make it less sugar. So I was trying to think of a varietal that
Like the Chenin Blanc? Chenin Blanc?
Riesling?
Or
Yeah,
Riesling, yes, it can be super sweet. You can stop fermentation,
Chenin
or
Blanc
you
was
can
my
go
first.
drier.
Chenin Blanc was my first thought until you started like describing
Yeah,
your thoughts.
that's what I said, Janine. I said Shania.
I thought
Yeah.
Chenin Blanc too,
Hey,
but
Janine.
I couldn't think of the varietal, but yes, thank you. Chenin Blanc, Riesling, you can make it super sweet. You can let it go, make it super dry. You have that represents the whole realm of fermentation.
could it also be rosé though? Because rosé finds its characteristics early on as well. It can be dry, it can be sweet. It doesn't require too much to make it what it becomes. Like it finds itself very early on, or begins to find itself very early on, depending on what grapes you use to make it. Like I feel like that has a lot to do with it. So
Agreed.
Thank you guys. So
What about like
I'm sorry.
what you consider champagne? Just the process in that you're actually making, like, the parenting process. I always think that champagne, because you're actually making you're using your winemaking skills to actually input into the thing to make it become what it is. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And what about even the Stella Roses, where they add the flavors? And I'm thinking more of the transformation. So you're transforming it from the base wine to that blackberry or the peach and adding those additional flavors to the fermentation process.
They call CPS if you do that.
Okay, so so the ones I picked, thank you guys, are Riesling. I picked Chardonnay again and Grenache. So Riesling for the same Riesling for the same reason is because it can be dry or sweet, and its tendency to evolve dramatically over time mirrors the dynamic growth that's seen in children. In its early stages, the bright acidity and the fresh floral notes reflect the lively curiosity and enthusiasm that's in childhood. As it ages, it can develop deeper, more complex flavors, much like a child who has gained wisdom and depth throughout their experiences. Because, childhood goes from, you have early childhood, which is 3 to 8, and then middle childhood is 9 to 11. So going through all those cycles. Chardonnay, I picked that again because just as children are versatile and constantly changing, so is Chardonnay. It's known to be remarkably transformative in its process, from the early days as crisp, fruity wine with fresh apple and citrus notes to later stages where it could develop rich, buttery flavors with hints of vanilla and oak. Chardonnay reflects the adaptability and potential of childhood. And then I picked Grenache with the vibrant and fruity profile. It has this youthful burst of flavor of red berries and hints of spice that capture the playful and energetic nature of childhood. Grenache starts off bright and full of life, and as it matures, it gains complexity and depth, much like a child growing up as a more sophisticated individual. Grenache's ability to evolve over time represents the ever-changing nature of childhood, where each new experience adds layers to a young person's character. So these varietals and all of the ones that you guys named showcase the fermentation process and the childhood stage of life. They highlight a period filled of transformation, discovery, and building of character that will define them in the future. Okay. Okay, so now we at the adolescent stage. I call this the fun stage because this one is like up and down. And if you have children, then you know what I'm talking about. But all of us are adults, so we remember how it was during that time. Adolescence has 3 levels. It's the early age, which is 11 through 14. And then the middle age is 15 through 17. And then the late adolescence age is 18 to 21. So this stage of life is marked by significant physical, emotional, and cognitive changes. So we're going to connect this stage to the aging and maturation process in wine. During adolescence, individuals are experimenting with different aspects of their identity. They're faced with new challenges and they're gradually discovering who they are. When it comes to the winemaking process, when it comes to the winemaking process, once the initial fermentation is complete, the wine is then aged in barrels, concrete, stainless steel tanks, or bottles to develop complexity and depth. This period allows the wine to mature and undergo changes that enhance the flavor and aroma profiles. This is very similar to the adolescent stage in life where they are maturing and they are developing a more defined character of who they are. I like to call this stage of life the barrel and stainless steel tank moments of life because it is unpredictable. Okay, both of them, the adolescent stage and the aging and maturation process, is unpredictable. You just gotta wait. You gotta be patient and trust the process. You remember our teen years, and like I said, if you have something like my daughter she just stepped into early adulthood, but I had my share of that adolescent time. Because the stages are unpredictable, at the same time, this is where they are defining who they are, like their unique style. So is there anyone that could relate to that, can relate some varietals to the adolescent stage?
Yeah, well, I mean, I can definitely relate to adolescents because I have 3 of them currently in that
So
stage.
you got
3 boys currently in that stage.
Ooh.
But I think James may have said champagne earlier, but this really makes me think about champagne because of and then you have that period of time because you know that you got that double fermentation going on, so you know you got to disgorge and get all them dead yeast cells out of there. You know what I'm saying? And restart it all over again.
That's puberty. Yes, they call puberty.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to get all that, you know, let all of that spew out, get rid of that, and then, you know, top it back off again with a little bit more parenting or whatever you got to do, you know, and fill them back up again and let them, you know, let them ferment, let them get it together, let them figure it out. And by the time you know, pop that cork, they'll be beautiful. Well, at least that's what we're hoping for, right? You know, because you know, who knows? With kids, it's like a 3rd or 4th or 5th or 6th fermentation process.
Every once in a while, somebody come out corked. Every so often. Little cork tank. Just
little cork tank, little bit. A smidge. But yeah, so that's why I say that. I think that.
Okay, I like that. How you illustrated that.
Tank.
What'd you say, James?
Nothing.
Oh.
I love James.
I immediately
I
thought
came
of
up with
Pinot Noir.
Oh, look,
there you
and
go.
I picked
My thought was Pinot.
Yeah. Especially with the breakdown of the ages for the adolescent process. That's why I picked these 3 wines. So rosé, of course, is one of my faves, but rosé is often made from red grapes with a shorter maceration period, and it has this vibrant color. I'm drinking that today, but you can't see it because on my screen. But anywho, this wine embodies the experimentation and transformation that is seen during adolescence. Just as teenagers are exploring different styles and different experiences, rosé offers a wide range of expressions from dry to sweet. Somebody mentioned that earlier for childhood as well. It balances fruitiness and acidity. The diverse styles of rosé reflect the spontaneity and rapid changes of the teenage years, a time when everything feels fresh and exciting, and then there's this constant drive to explore and try new things. I picked Pinot Noir. I'm kind of thinking this would be like the middle part. Pinot Noir is the perfect reflection of adolescent stage because it is nuanced, it's sensitive, it requires careful handling, and it's very reminiscent to the navigating emotional and personal growth during the stage of life. Pinot Noir develops this mix of bright, youthful flavors like cherry and raspberry, alongside more grounded, earthy tones mirroring the journey of adolescence. And then Zinfandel, With its bold, spicy notes, that's when we think we grown, but we really not, and lively character, it represents the intensity and vibrancy of adolescence. Its flavors can range from bright red berries to deeper, rich notes as it matures, mirroring the emotional highs and lows of adolescence. Zinfandel's ability to shift from one flavor profile to another reflects the unpredictability of adolescence, which is a time marked by new experiences and a push to define oneself. So each of these wines, and of course the ones that you guys suggested, much like adolescence, reflect the exploration, growth, and unique characteristics that come with this stage of life. And finally, we have adulthood, which is symbolized by the bottling and enjoyment phase in winemaking. Adulthood is marked by stability, maturity, and the application of knowledge from and skills acquired from all of the stages prior. Adulthood is a time where you enjoy the fruits of your labor and make meaningful contributions to society. After a period of aging and development, just as an adult has gained wisdom and experience over time, the wine has fully matured and is ready to be presented to the world. It has reached its peak expression, becoming well-rounded and nuanced, and is prepared to be enjoyed and appreciated. The bottling phase represents the culmination of the winemaking journey. This stage is akin to the fulfillment and realization found in adulthood, where the wine is savored for its refined characteristics and rich, complex flavors. Now, adulthood is 4 stages of adulthood. You got your early adult, which is 22 to 34. Then early middle adult is 35 to 44. Late middle adult is 45 to 64. And late adult is 65 and above. So with that age range, with the description that we know that adulthood is maturity, stability, experience, and wisdom, does anyone have any varietals that would mirror this stage of life?
Definitely a cab in there somewhere. It's a
What'd
cab.
you say, Bianca?
It's a cab.
It's a cab in there somewhere because you.
I was gonna say, yep. I was gonna say a cab
stability,
too.
like you
Ooh,
get
yeah.
that, and
Stay up
then
to 20.
for whatever reason in my mind, I'm thinking of like a Nebbiolo or Barolo, something that is seasoned, that's had some time, like something old world, not necessarily for that parallel, but just
I
something
think
that has had
even
some
like a Tempranillo, like
Yeah.
where Tempranillo, you have Crianza, you have a Reserva, you have a Grand. So like if you know the Crianza, the younger ones are when you're partying, and then the when you've been in the bottle a little bit, you've been in the barrel a little bit, you're releasing like 10 years old bottle, new bottle release. So I think something like a Tempranillo, where you have the different stages of bottling, be a good example.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? No.
There's some stuff in the chat too. Like Danielle said, Tawny Port, and Angela said Merlot and Sangiovese.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Malbec is another.
Bordeaux.
Yeah.
Malbec.
Malbec. Yep.
Even some blends like Chateauneuf de Pop, they say like the really good Chateauneuf de Pop, you either drink them young or you have to wait because they go through a dumb phase, what's called a dumb phase, where they're developing themselves. So young, they might be good, but then you open them like 7, 8 years, 8, 9, 10 years, and they feel disjointed. But after that 10th to 15th and beyond, they've kind of settled in. And that's how a lot of times we are with, in our young 20s, we're energetic, but by the time we hit 27 to 35, we're a little bit like, okay, what are we doing? And then you get 35, 40 and plus, and you figured it out. And now you're just kind of on your path to being whatever you're going to be for longevity, for a long time. So I think maybe like a Chateauneuf de Pop, blend type thing.
Okay.
That was
Well,
perfect.
thank y'all for that. So I picked some of the ones y'all named. Wait, what happened to my? Okay, so I would not be able to complete my presentation if I did not include Merlot, considering my name is Mahogany and Merlot. If you're not following me on Instagram, you can do so at _Mahogany and Merlot. Anywho, Merlot is like, I also picked this wine because it's special to me, because this is the first wine that I tasted when I felt like I was grown in the wine world. You know, I had surpassed the sweet wines and I was on to red. So Merlot is like the adult of the wine world, the first adult. Remember those ages that I gave you. It's smooth, it's balanced, and it's ready to impress. Just as adults have a refined, stable character, Merlot offers a well-rounded taste that is easy to enjoy. When it's bottled, it's like putting the finishing touches on a life well lived, ready to be shared and celebrated. Then I also picked Syrah and Shiraz because they mirror the adulthood stage by showcasing depth, complexity, and readiness. In adulthood, Syrah and Shiraz is like a person who has gained richness in character through experience. Its bold, full-bodied flavors and intricate layers reflect a well-developed, mature personality. And then Cabernet Franc, because it is one of my faves, it embodies adulthood with its refined yet distinctive profile. In adulthood, it's like a seasoned individual that balances vibrant fruitiness with earthy complexity, showcasing depth and maturity. After aging, it harmonizes its intricate flavors, making it ready to be enjoyed at its finest. Cabernet Franc reflects having a well-rounded and evolved nature. Now, I want to be a licensed therapist, so I could not complete my presentation without sliding in some things that can affect our lives. So trauma mirrors wine faults. So our experiences in life is what is responsible for building our character. And these experiences can have long-lasting effects on individuals' mental and emotional well-being. This can also be compared in winemaking, where trauma in life can be compared to wine faults in the winemaking process. Trauma, by definition, is the emotional and psychological wounds caused by distressing and life-threatening events. And then wine faults refers to the flaws and defects in wine that negatively impact the taste, aroma, and appearance of the wine. Both trauma and wine faults manifest in various forms. Trauma can manifest as anxiety, depression, or PTSD. And then wine faults, like someone mentioned earlier today, cork tank oxidation or bacterial spoilage. They're both considered disruptions or deviations from an expected that can have long-lasting effects. Handling trauma and addressing wine faults share similarities in terms of early detection and intervention, understanding, and healing over time. Part of trauma recovery can involve accepting that the experience has changed your life, but you can still have a fulfilling life. Adapting to those changes are a sign of resilience and growth. And then in winemaking, some faults cannot be fully corrected, but a winemaker may adapt to it by creating something different, like using a slightly oxidized wine for cooking or blending. The fault, while not ideal, becomes a part of a new story for the wine. So in both of these cases, with handling of trauma or wine faults, the focus is not on the trauma or the wine fault. It's on minimizing harm, fostering recovery, and ultimately creating something positive out of a difficult situation. Okay? So thank you guys. We are at the end. The stages of life we covered today are infancy, childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. And these stages can meaningfully compared to the key stages of winemaking, which we discovered today are grape growing and harvest, fermentation, aging, maturation, and bottling. Both processes involve nurturing, transformation, growth, and development of character. Just as each stage in life shapes who we become, Each stage in the winemaking process influences the wine's ultimate quality and expression. Both of these journeys highlight the importance of care, patience, importance, and adaptability in creating something complex, refined, and full of potential. Thank you. Do we have any questions? I guess I can read the chat. I didn't read it, but if anybody wants to share any comments, any questions, I am here to listen.
Chavonne, this is Natasha. For some of the people who may have come in a little late, can you go back over how you came up with this idea of connecting the two things?
Oh, well, the reason I came up with this idea is because I am in school for psychology, and actually one of my classes is lifespan development. So this is really helping me study. So I decided to combine wine, which I love so much, and psychology to create tasting through the life cycle. So that's how we came up with it.
It's good.
Well, this is fantastic, Chavonne. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. This was so awesome. I loved it.
Thank you.
Really good. Yeah, you did a really good job connecting everything.
And I appreciate y'all's feedback and participation. You know, you helped me go through it, so I love that.
Absolutely. And if I can just say very quickly as a comment, I feel like we all represent Chardonnay. Again, my favorite grape, because we either end up true to our terroir or how we grew up,
Okay.
or we are shaped by our experiences, as a winemaker will put their stuff on it to make it what it is. And, you know, we are all Chardonnay. Thank you.
We are all Chardonnay. That need to be
I didn't know where that was going for a second. But what I would like to say is I think this is a great tool for people to like relate to, not necessarily like you don't have to be doing a degree to or going through a degree program to relate to this. Like people in WSET 1 or WSET 2 can literally be like, okay, when I was a child, I was like these. When I was a teenager or a young adult, you know, I was like these. When as I get older, I can relate to these. And so I think that's a great teaching tool for people. And Chavonne, like you can capitalize on that being a teaching tool, something that you develop and put out yourself because you already have the blueprint for it. So
that part,
my mind is going for like our chapter and like how to marry the concept for members as we like learn and grow in ourselves. So
okay.
I think it was really good.
Thank you.
Absolutely, because a lot of people learn by association, and sometimes when you can associate a concept that may be a little difficult or new to something that you can relate to, like Bianca said, it helps to understand and retain that information.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was an awesome idea.
Thank you. Well, that's all I have.
Chavonne, you got someone had a hand up. Oh, I'm sorry, there he goes.
Now somebody gotta help me with this because I don't know how to do it.
Chavonne,
back. Yeah.
It's a two-part question. With your your therapy practice, is there a specific life stage that you're passionate about, helping the most? And then if you can pick one, which wine do you prefer from that life stage?
Okay, so what I am passionate about is trauma therapy. So it's really like it's all of it. It's like at first I thought it was just going to be adults, but then I realized as I've been studying that the earlier you start with intervention, you kind of can help it a little bit faster. So it's like really getting with children because if you can, I don't want to say fix it because it's not like we are broken, but if we can get to that point where they're younger, then it's like you make it a little bit better for them when they're older for everyone else, their life, they can have a better life. So rosé is always going to be my go-to because of the range of it. So I would pick rosé.
I love that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that it?
Chavonne, I just want to say that you did a great job. We're all very, very proud of you. And we're just happy to have you in our Atlanta chapter because we all have trauma, and Chavonne helps us all the time, whether we want to be helped or not. She finds the time to help us.
She gives amazing hugs.
She gives amazing hugs, and then she'll ask you, "How are you doing?" Which is such a heavy question if you have trauma in your life. So,
and I really want to know the answer. I don't just be asking.
Right, you really, and that's the thing.
She means it.
She really do care. Most people like me, I don't really care. So I'm not gonna ask you. I'm like, "Hey, you good?" I'm gonna keep walking. So Chavonne really cares. We appreciate you. This is a really good class, and to piggyback on Bianca, yes, let's have this in our chapter.
I would love that.
This would be good as a workshop, girl.
Okay.
Sure would.
Do a workshop, a little work session, so people can actually work through those stages. You just talk about, wow, I mean, that's sidebar. That's sidebar. I ain't sidebar. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, do a little
You need
workbook.
tequila for that. You don't need no wine for that. You need tequila.
Oh,
yeah.
Karen, I don't know.
Why we gonna have? No, we gonna
I'm
use
sorry.
wine.
It'll turn into something else. It'll turn into something else.
No, it won't. No.
Karen,
That's not part of the presentation, Karen.
I can't, Lord. I'm done. This was fantastic.
Well, thank y'all.
Yeah.
Yay, Chavonne.
Okay. Well, I mean, are you trying to get rid of us or something, or like?
I mean, no, but
Is the hangout section, or like part of the thing, or like we just kind of.
Right.
I don't know. It might time us out, Harris. I don't know how much.
It's gonna time us out. Okay.
And we don't know.
Recorded.
Yeah.
Are we still recording? Oh,
we can stop the recording.
Let me see if I can end the recording without.
Because we already got
stopping it.
Karen on
Hold
there
on.
being Karen.
Oh, sorry. I forgot we was recording.